episode of the Peelerz podcast, where we discuss the nitty gritty and gritty side of stripping with your host Kruella Kraken and
Darcy Diamond.
Hello, Darcy.
Hello.
The one and only the Demon Eye girl.
Not the only.
In Alberta, right?
I mean, first it was Wednesday.
Oh yeah. But you're like black eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's fucking
Demon Black. She's got like the cute marble gray.
Hell yeah. Is it the same process?
Actually, I saw a video of the process of what her ex has done, and it is because he's not the person who created it, and actually Luna Cobra never trained anybody.
Yeah.
So therefore, when I saw the video, it was like I think it was like a 30, 40-minute process, and just like injections everyone. I guess it hurt.
Ah.
Where with Luna, it's one and done, quick 3 seconds, you're good to go.
Oh God. So for everyone who's always in my inbox asking if I'm ever going to get my eyes done, if you want advice, ask her.
Go to Luna Cobra. Don't go to Oscar.
Don't go to, well, he's in jail, so.
Yeah.
But yes, there's very specific ways to go about a procedure of such extremity?
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's a very extreme procedure, and don't trust just anyone with black eyes to put a needle in your eye. Go to the correct person. Anyway,
And you're going to pay a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it's worth it.
As you should. Because it's your fucking eyes. Yeah, don't play games with that shit. So, me and her, we have something in common. Other than looking weird, being put under that blanket of things. We get judged a lot for the way that we look, whether it's by people who are booking us or dating us or anything of the sorts. But the most particular one that really affects our lives.
It's the worst one, too.
It's the fucking worst one. The airport.
Border Patrol, not including the airport. Also, ground.
Yeah. Oh my
I just
God.
experienced that coming back to Canada, and it was fucking hilarious. No, coming to Canada and then coming back was even funnier. But we'll do that one at the end.
Okay. Hell yeah. It's only happened to me once. I do go to the States next week, so I'm very nervous about whether or not they're going to let me pass. But I'm with my fucking mom, so hopefully they're
Calgary's good, though. Like, when I crossed the border the first time after this whole COVID nonsense, I went through Calgary, and then I got pulled into secondary. Mm-hmm. And that's when actually Cassie and I were heading to Vegas.
Yeah.
And that was August 2022. And I remember I was shitting bricks. You know, we just go in, and I'm like, okay, sweet, this is gonna be easy. It was easy for that time, for the 2 times in Calgary. So I went through, and then like, oh, what are you guys doing? And Cassie's like, oh, we're going on vacation, and I'm like, I'm gonna go get my eyeliner tattooed and go to a concert. That's it. Because I'm very informative.
Yes.
Like I'm not that type of person to just be like that. Because I'm like, that's not me. I'm quiet and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just like trying to be informative. It's all in my day planner. And I'm just like, he was like, okay, well, you can go and you're going to sit over there and wait to go into secondary. I'm like, okay, wait, what, who? And then he's like, Cassandra, you go over there. Darcy, you go sit over there and wait for an officer. And I'm like, oh, what did I do?
That happened with me and my friend too, that we got pulled back because of her, but then it really switched around where like I was more in trouble than her. Yeah, it was fucking wild.
So then I'm like sitting there waiting, and I'm like, it says don't go on your phone. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put this in my bag and not touch it. So I'm like going like this and sitting there, and I'm a nervous wreck, and I like heavy sweat. So my palms are wet, my armpits are wet, a million things are going through my head, and I'm like, what is going on here? Finally, this adorable Asian guy comes up to me, and he's like, hey, like, come follow me. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, have a seat over here. I'm like, okay. I'm like, am I in trouble? I've never been back here before. And he's like, no, you're fine. And I'm like, okay. And then so I just sat there, and I think it was like 15 minutes has passed. And he's like, Darcy, can you please come up here? And I'm like, walk up. I'm like, hi. He's like, have you ever been in secondary before? I'm like, no. And he's just like, okay, do you know why you'd be back here? I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, what do you do for work? I'm like, I'm a Canadian exotic entertainer. I, work at a lot of different clubs. I also feature at clubs. I've been doing, I've been an exotic entertainer for the past, now 14 years, but then it was ever since 2010.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so do you plan on working in the States? I was like, absolutely not. I was like,
Fuck that.
there's contact there. You don't get paid for your stage shows. I was like, no. I'm like, this is the first time I'm actually going to the States since I was like 29.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I think it was 29 or 28. And then he's just like, okay, so I just want to let you know that you are flagged in both Canada and the States. Do you have any reason, like, why that could have happened? I was like, no.
So if you're flagged in Canada and the States, that means you're also going to have trouble coming back?
Yeah, I have trouble coming back. Like, they ask me, like, it's insane, the stupid questions that they fucking ask me. It's horrible. So then I'm like, no, I have no idea why. Like, I literally didn't. I wasn't in tears or anything. I was just super confused. And I was like, well, good thing I have my day planner. This is like, you know, I've worked up until now just to go away for the week because we're going to go meet with our girlfriend there. And literally I'm getting my eyeliner tattooed and we have a concert that we're going to. We're just meeting up with friends because, you know, I'm finally single and I can leave without, you know, being strapped down and being told what and what not to do. I was like, I've never actually been able to go somewhere and be free in a sense. And it's just like, okay, well, enjoy your trip. And I was like, what? And I was like, this is it? This was like only 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, you don't have any reason for me to like not let you go into the States.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. And then so we went and I like was dying because I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Your heart will never race like it does at the airport because you have no idea what's going to happen.
No.
And you can actually, like, if they dig hard enough or look for something hard enough or just want to accuse you, you can actually get real charges.
Right.
For nothing.
So then the second time I went back to the States, that was after I had talked with Luna Cobra because so when I went to the States that week, and shot because we were shooting scenes. We didn't get paid for these scenes because obviously it's just content trade within the company.
When she's talking scenes, she's talking prawn, if you know what I mean.
Prawn.
Yeah, prawn. Just for the confused people out there.
Juicy prawns.
Yeah.
Anyways, going out there, shooting, and my first professional scene in the States, I got gonorrhea.
Happens.
Yeah.
It fucking happens.
My test results were all our test results were all cleared. And of course, with me doing it since 2020, this being 2022, and I, you know, just went through a recent breakup and I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't do content trade with people. Like I won't meet up with them, shoot just to post stuff up. With me, it's companies only.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he would come back and, you know, I'd call my doctor bawling my eyes out when I found out. And then we finished up the week. And I had severe cold symptoms, like flu symptoms. It was like clear gooiness just pouring out of my nose, out of my throat. I'm like, do I have COVID?
Is that a symptom of gonorrhea?
Oh yeah. And that's like late. Like a late version. I was like Googling it. I'm like, why do I have these like late super symptoms?
Yeah.
Because I am the type of person that will always get tested, even when I'm in a relationship, because I'm mortified ever since I was 18 that I'm getting cheated on. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, the industry that we work in, people will talk in your face, they'll spit. You never know if they have blood floating around in their mouth.
Yeah.
So therefore, the reason why I go every 2 weeks is because us working in the club and people are being dumb, fights happen, blood's everywhere. I need to go get tested for my own mental health because I'm always mortified, like, oh my God, something's going to show up.
Yeah.
Because you just never know.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, it wasn't me, thank God. But I remember when the chick told us, I just laughed and I'm just like, well, at least that can get cured with a pill. That's my first time catching it.
That was my next question. I always thought that chlamydia could be cured and gonorrhea couldn't.
No, gonorrhea can.
Yeah, like it must be because I know a few friends who've had it. Yeah.
What are those called? CPACs? But with gonorrhea, you need to get a needle in the ass cheek. We didn't know that when we came back. So, you know, the other girl and I'm not going to mention her name. We both came back and then we got like, you know, the pills or whatever. And then as soon as I got back that day, drove straight to Edmonton because I was supposed to be in, I don't remember where I was working that week.
You were at St. Pete's with me.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I the next morning, I went straight to the Shoppers, picked it all up, took it, and I'm sitting there making Instagram stories, being like, clearly what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. And then I had people messaging me like, you caught gonorrhea, didn't you? I was like, how'd you know? Like, because my ex has done the same thing to me, and I know those packages. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And they're just like, well, that's what happens in the porn industry. It's, you know,
it is.
It's not an odd thing that happens. It just happens.
For all the incels that are going to go in the comments and be like, she's bragging. She's not
dirty.
She's not fucking bragging. She's making light of what a light situation is. I've had friends with chlamydia, gonorrhea, even fucking syphilis. It's just like getting a fucking yeast infection. Calm the fuck down. It's not that bad. The stigma is stupid.
So I died. So I hadn't shot. I didn't shoot again until February. So that was August, and then February. I had PTSD the whole time.
Yeah, no doubt.
So then I was just like, okay, I'm like, you know, I went for testing, and then the testing place that I went to up in Fort St. John, actually, because I worked there the following week. So I took it, and then my doctor sent me a requisition because it was in BC. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, go to this place and, you know, go get your blood work and everything done. And I was like, sweet. And then I looked at the lady. I was like, okay, I'm here to get my blood work done, you know, my pee, my swabs. And she looks at me, she's like, swabs? And I was like, yeah, I need to get my throat swabbed, my ass swabbed, and my hoo-ha swabbed.
Yeah.
And she's like, we don't do that here. I was like, well, is there anywhere in town here that I can get it done, because I need it done. Like,
yeah.
I've never not had everything done at once. And she's like, we don't do that. I was like, no, you guys give me the swabs and then put the labels on the container, and then I do it myself and put it in and close it, and then you guys just send it off to the lab. She's like, we don't do that. So I was like, okay, fuck.
Was this a sexual health clinic, or was it just a clinic?
It was a clinic in Fort St. John, and like a little C-can looking thing.
Okay.
It was weird.
Yeah.
So then I did that, and then I was like, okay, fine, I'll just do the swabs when I get back home. Completely forgot about it, and you're going to die when I tell you this. So then everything came back from those test results negative. So I was like, sweet, forgot about the swabs. Sweet, everything's fine. Yeah. Everything's fine. So then fast forward to, okay, we'll pause on that, go to when I flew back out to the States again. I booked my appointment to go get my right eye done. I can't remember if I flew out of Edmonton or if I flew out of Calgary, but I think I flew out of Edmonton. And then I think that's when I came across
Anna. We've both experienced her.
I came across her. I mean, every time she makes me cry, but then she lets me in. So I went to go get my eye done, and of course, what happens? They pull me into secondary. I was like, sweet, I'm golden.
Yeah.
And then so I go in, and I'm like, hey, like, they're like, okay, well, why are you crossing? And I'm like, well, because I'm going to go get my right eye tattooed in Miami, and then I fly back, and then I have to go straight to work. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, we're not sure if you're here to meet clients, or that's what she said. I was like, what are you talking about, clients? She's like, do you know a little page called Leo's List? And I was like, yeah, that's like an escorting site. She's like, yeah, you have pages on there. I'm like, no, I don't. I was like, but I was posted up on there in the beginning of 2021 from an ex and his friend, and they also posted a bunch of other girls. I was like, so therefore, it was taken down within a week. And then she's like, yeah, see, how do I know if you're lying or not? I'm like, I'm being honest with you.
That's fucking evil.
And so she's just like, yeah, so I don't know if you're going to go see clients. And I'm like, I have no clients. What are you talking about? I'm an exotic stage entertainer and also a feature entertainer in Canada. Well, how do I know that you're not going to go try to work stage in the States? Well, because for one, there's contact down there. Up here, there's no contact.
Yeah.
Down there, you don't get paid for your stage shows. Here, you do for the full week. So when you go into work, you're getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
So you don't need to rely on dances and stuff. That's when she got me to like write down what I get paid for each club, all the clubs that I work at in town, where they're located, what I average for dances, for the private dances for the week, and then my average totals for the places that I do work. So I was just like, well, this is very invasive, but I'm not going to get let in if I don't do it. So I'm just going to do it because I don't care, because I have my day planner and she sees it.
Yeah.
So then they ended up letting me go, and I was just like bawling my eyes out, and I was a mess. So I went to Miami, got this eye tattooed December 13th, and then I flew back. And then I went to go get this one done in February 16th. So then, fast forward to February. I fly out, and this time I go through Calgary, because I was like, fuck this. It's easier in Calgary. I don't want to deal with Edmonton.
Yeah.
So then I go through in Edmonton, or through Calgary, and then it was the same guy.
Yeah.
The same officer I had to deal with. They're like, okay, well, you just got to go sit over there and wait. I'm like, okay, fine. So then I go into secondary in Calgary this time in February. And then he calls me into the back. And at this point, this dude's sweating bricks. I'm just like all chill and whatever. Because I'm like, I'm going to go get my other eye tattooed. I have the messages, everything. It's all written in my day planner. Like, I've been busting my ass off to get these done.
Yeah.
So then he gets me to sit down and wait, and then he calls me up and he's like, here we go again. I see you again. He's like, so what brings you into the States this time? And I was like, well, I just finished up working, a bunch of weeks in a row because I got this eye done, and now I'm finally getting my left eye done. My dream's coming true that I'm getting my eye tattooed.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid. And he's just like, okay. So, my only question is, and he's like sweating and shaking. He's like, so the last time you were in the States? And I was like, last time I was in the States, I got my right eye tattooed in Miami. He's like, before that. And I was just like, oh, when I went to Vegas? And he's like, yeah. He's like, so you shot scenes? And I was like, what? And of course I'm like, okay, I'm not going to lie. And I'm like, I did shoot with a company out there, but I did not get paid. Yeah. It was just like, we just were out there and we wanted to shoot with the company. So we didn't get paid for it. And he's like, the next officer might not believe you. So you just might not want to shoot your scenes in the States and just shoot them in Canada. And I'm like, afterwards I was like, okay. And I was like, so do I get to still go to the States? And because I have a bunch of stuff that I have to do there, like my eyes, and then I have a bunch of friends to meet with and stuff. And he's like, yep. We're done. I'm just letting you know that the next person might not believe you, so just make sure that you're properly prepared. And I was like, this dude's so nice. Yeah. But then afterwards, when I left, it like clicked in my brain, and I messaged Slava calling him. He's like, dude, that dude probably watches your stuff nonstop. And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because he couldn't even look me in the eyes, and he's like shaking.
And he was
like
nervous, Nelly. Oh,
so all that, and then yeah. But I'll take a pause on mine, and we can talk about yours, because I think this happened around the time.
Anna was so mean to me. I cried so hard.
Wait. First, tell us, you guys, like, going to the airport.
I'm going to tell the whole story, but I'm just going to get this off my chest. Fuck Anna. Oh, she was so mean. Okay, so I have never been pulled into secondary. I thought it was, like, very much for people who like had red flags already on them,
or a criminal record, and we don't have a criminal record.
Yes, and so like I didn't understand the logistics of it. I thought you had to have some kind of record or something on there for them to even flag you and bring you into secondary. So when they scanned me, I was good, but when they scanned my friend, something came up, and I was like, I know this bitch. She doesn't have any criminal charges. I don't even think she has a speeding ticket. Like, so I'm like so confused. But the thing is, she also shoots. Mm-hmm. With her friends, and
she does the content trade stuff.
She does, yes, and like she's not getting paid there either. So I'm like, I just think it's somewhat linked to that. And I'm panicking, and I'm like pretty freaking peeved at her, because I'm like, there's something she knows. Like, there's something she knows. She didn't know either. She was just as confused as me. And they go and ask her some questions. They ask me some questions, where exactly all of our income comes from and everything. And I thought you had to be honest. No one has ever sat me down and told me, like, don't even mention that you take Tylenol, because they will use it against you. They didn't say that. Like, oh, have you ever smoked weed before? I'm like, yeah. Boom. Bad question to answer. Like, I should have said no. I didn't know I was supposed to lie. I'm like, what if they go through my phone and they see me smoking a joint?
I didn't lie. I thought the same thing. I'm like, I'm going to be completely honest, because all in all, if you think I'm lying, I just told you the complete truth.
Exactly. So, like, I just wanted to be transparent, because if they are going to go through your phone, which I thought they were going to, that they would see something. So it turns out they ask my friend some questions, and they come up to us and they're like, just so you know, the reason that you're getting pulled to the back is because the place you stayed at last time, they are under investigation for prostitution, like the house is. Don't know if they made that up or were trying to get her to like admit something or if it actually was true in any way, shape, or form. But I'm like, ugh, relieved. It has nothing to do with me. I was not on that trip. I'm just hanging out with her. So I'm like, oh, thank God, it has nothing to do with me. But because I said that I smoked weed, that was a big fucking... And I was stuck with Anna, and my friend was stuck with this really cool officer. So then she's asking exactly where all my income comes from. So I'm like, oh my God, she must know everything. So I do say OnlyFans. And she asked me, can people in the States buy it? I'm like, well, people around the world can buy it. Big no-no on my part again, because she heard, I'm getting paid in American. Americans are giving me money, and I'm going down there to work OnlyFans.
You get paid, and everybody gets paid in American from OnlyFans.
And then it gets converted to Canadian. And that's what I was trying to explain to her, but I didn't know what words were going to make me more in trouble. So I started to panic, and she started yelling at me, and she thought, I don't know. This is the part that's dumb. She was obviously playing stupid or wanted me in more trouble because she was pretending like she had no idea what OnlyFans is. And I'm like, there's no way that I'm the first human through this. It's 2024 that I'm the first human going through the border that you've heard of OnlyFans. There's no freaking way. So when she's yelling at me, I made the mistake of I was so confused. I didn't know why she needed to yell. But I was like, it's OnlyFans. You don't know what OnlyFans is? Like, can you ask some of your male coworkers? Because, like...
They definitely are subscribed to, girls. Everybody is.
It's a thing, and she slams down the paper. She's like, of course I don't know what OnlyFans is. I'm a federal officer. She was screaming so loud she was spitting on me.
But like, excuse me, do you know that some of your federal officers like to go to private parties and do cocaine off girls and,
Yeah.
They like to order escorts and all that? Like...
Mm-hmm. And still yelling at me, and I'm like, I don't know if I can answer anything right, because every time I answer something, she gets more and more mad. And then she asked me how much I make per week while stripping. And I said, like, on a good week, like... Shit sucks now. It's around $2,000 a week, usually.
That's a shitty week.
It's pretty average, though.
And that was, like, usually when it was, like, dead.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, that's a good week.
She was writing all this down. I never wrote down my weeks or anything. She wrote all it down on just, a ripped piece of paper. So it wasn't, like, an official piece of paper either. And she goes back and talks to the guy and comes. And she twists what I said into that I make $2,000 a day on OnlyFans. And I was like, I wish. Are you kidding me? I'm like, I can show you how much I make. I don't want to see your OnlyFans. I'm like, no, I can show you how much I make because it's so little that it
covers bills. Like I don't even use that full. Like to me, I don't care for it because people are demanding on a lot of things. Like even on campsites, that's why I don't really camp.
Yeah,
I prefer to game, hardcore game stream. Like that's all I care for because. You sit there on camp, butt ass naked, and people are like, "Oh, show me this, show me that," and they're throwing you like maybe 10 cents in tokens, which is 2 tokens because 1 token's 5 cents.
Yeah.
So you have like a set list, and they're just like trying to tip you a little bit, and be like, "Show me this, show me that," and you're just like, "Get out of here!" Like that's degrading.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like with mine, I just post my stuff up there, and if people want to watch it, sweet. It's like a Netflix. It's $30 a month, and you have everything on there. There's, the little categories on top or whatever. Yeah. So if you click on it, it's all there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just felt like, I don't know. Then the looks I was getting from my friend was just like, kind of keep your mouth shut. And I'm like, I don't know what to say or do to get us out of this. Suddenly, she goes, you're actually going to have to apply for a visa to be able to get into the States, which I believe is a lie because she gave me a dismissal. She gave both of us the exact same dismissal. And I'm sure if I really needed a visa, there would be some kind of charges laid or something, right? So she tells me, oh, she's going to need a visa and she won't. And I'm like, I'm so confused because we came back here for her. You didn't ask her any of the questions about smoking weed. You didn't ask her anything about OnlyFans, but you only asked me, and you only went through my phone, even though, and I did not say this to them, but like in my head, I'm like, she's got the same shit. I don't know why I'm getting in trouble. And she looked at me. I was so confused. She's like, you can take your shit and leave, basically. And I'm like, I'm just so confused. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? And she just piped up and went, I knew the second you walked in, I wasn't letting you through.
What?
And I'm just like, what? I was wearing like one piece that was short shorts and a tank top, right? So I was showing lots of my tattoos. I looked very extreme. I had a fur coat on. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Vegas. So I'm dressing like I'm going to Vegas. Now I know.
Dress homeless.
Dress homeless.
But it doesn't work still. You dress homeless, like that's what I do. Like I will go with no nails, and of course my makeup's tattooed.
Yeah.
So this is how I wake up, and I'm literally like this all day until I actually have to go to work.
Yeah.
And then when I'm working, then I'll put some stuff on, but it's still not whatever, because to me I'm not, this person that needs to be dolled up, because I'm just like, ugh, I'll just put some lashes on. It's
I
fine.
hate that I have to act inconspicuous when I'm genuinely not doing anything down there.
We're just enjoying ourselves. We're just heavily tattooed people that just, are just trying to live our life because we deserve it. And we just get shit on for it because we're too alternative. It's not our fault that we're not scared to be ourselves, but other people are pissed with it.
Yeah. So now when I go, I'm like, I got a binder of stuff that I printed, all the activities we're doing, because we couldn't prove like where we were staying, because we were staying with a friend. That friend apparently had charges on their house or something. And then we didn't have any events planned or things because we were going to buy the tickets when we got there and decided what we were going to do that night.
Oh, yeah. Because that's when I was in LA, I think. And I was out getting boba, and I came across this table full of crosses and saw you, and the message, you took the picture of it, and like, if you need these, let me know. And then you're like, yeah, we're going to be there. And I was supposed to be back the same time you guys were in Vegas, because we were going to get together.
Yep.
And then you're just like, change of plans. I was like, well, looks like I'm not going to go with a bunch of crosses.
Yeah.
I totally remember that too.
No, fuck.
That was like
sweating thinking about it.
May or June. No, April. No, not April. Maybe. No, May. It was either May or June. It was May, I think.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I was back and forth lots then.
We were just planning to go down and honestly make TikToks with like Charlie Classic and them. But like explaining that to someone who doesn't know what OnlyFans is, I'm like thinking like, will she even know what TikTok is? Is she lying about not knowing it is? Like, you gotta be lying, girl.
If so, you should know that, like, with OF, it's not just adult content. There's people doing many other things on there. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even post on there. I do. Like, I'd actually just auto-posted for, like, the 1st of the month and the 15th, because I was like, oh, something needs to be posted. Otherwise, it's just blank.
And I never do. I only use it for super fans, and I tell them, I'm like, if you want on it, it's really PG. There's not much. For anyone who wants my OnlyFans, super PG. If you want something more, you have to pay a little bit of an absorbed price, because I don't do that stuff. So it's a lot for me. And I told her that. I was like, it's like really for super fans who want to buy 1 or 2 videos. And like most of my super fans are here in Canada. So she's like, well, how many people from America are buying your thing? I'm like, you can't know where people are from.
No, just when they're buying your username.
Yeah, just their username.
But I did find something on there, and it was so sick, because I was like looking, and I went and clicked on statistics. You can see how many people have checked out your profile in the past year, and then lifetime. I looked at that and my jaw dropped. In this past year, I think it was just over 400,000 people have clicked on my page, and then it will tell you like the people that keep coming back to like look at it. And I'm just like, motherfuckers, you all could have subscribed when it was just like $11.11 a month, but now it's at 30, so you're shit out of luck.
Mine's 32.
I mean, it's easier that way, because it's premium stuff. There's not people that look like us, and whatever we have on there is one of a kind in a sense.
Yeah, really.
And to me, it's Netflix to my life. Yeah. But you have the full-blown videos on there, not like what people do with like, oh, here's little clips of this, and just send me money for this. I'm like, oh, hell no. Just subscribe, and everything is there from start to end. I started with Suicide Girl stuff on there. That's all I did. I just post all my shoots. Yeah, because we all went with, what is her? Kelso. I'm trying to remember her name on the thing. Orly. I think it was her. Is her Suicide Girl name? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember, because myself, you, Wednesday, we all decided to just get into it at the same time.
Yeah.
And then we all just did it. And then I fucking have like 27 sets. I think I still have a bunch more to put up, but I haven't gotten them back from photographers. And that was like a long time ago. Yeah. So I'm going to reach out and be like, hey, can I please get those pictures? So that way I can get those updated, and then I can start taking new photos, because I'm not going to post photos with my fucking, all this done, where that is like before all the extreme body modifications came.
Like a little outdated.
Yeah. And that'd be so weird having like the new stuff and then old stuff pop up and like, no.
Flashback.
I gotta delete all this.
So the one thing that when we were passing the border that like it took a while to dissect in my brain of like what was going on is the way she worded things and kind of made us believe that things were a certain way, and it was not that way.
Manipulated.
So she manipulated what she told us to basically be like, she basically made it sound like I am banned from the border, which after talking to my lawyer, there has to be a reason and a charge for that. They can't just say like, there has to be like proof, evidence taken down, everything like that never happened. They both gave us the same dismissal, that piece of paper that you sign that says you're dismissed from the border. Something she also said, but twisted it around, was like, looks like you're going to miss your flight. But she meant like, because we've been back here so long, the plane was already taken off. So we could, if we got there maybe earlier and fought with them a little longer, maybe would have been let through.
Yeah.
But she definitely made it seem like, oh yeah, it's because you guys are in trouble. But really with a dismissal, like she could have let us through. There was no actual charges.
Like, I would have just bought a new flight right then and there. Like, can I please buy one?
Yeah, and that's what we said. And we asked her if we could do that. And she kept saying, no, like this girl's going to need a visa. This girl's going to need a visa. And I'm like,
I'm not working.
I'm not working. That's the thing. She's like, oh, you need a visitor's visa. You have to buy it. It's like $500, this and that. But there was no information taken down on their part. They did not take me in the back room. They took a few screenshots from my phone, only from the screenshot area, which was weird, like not my actual camera roll. But they would have to say like denied from border for like blah, blah, blah. But like we had permission to leave ourselves, which my lawyer said like you can try again. They might let you through.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I spent so much on lawyers, so much time stressing on all this shit, getting advice from people when I don't think I'm denied from the border permanently. I fucking hope I'm not. Oh my God.
No, because you would have to have like all that paperwork. Every time she's turned me around, even after, okay, so February happened. Like I went and got all my testing done and everything because that's.
Yeah, have they denied you and you've had to stay here?
No.
They haven't.
They've tried to every single time, even when I drove to the States at the beginning of January. That was the longest wait ever. And that was like 5.5 hours. And I'm like, bawling in Anthony's arms. I'm like, because they're like, you can go, but she has to go back to Canada. And I'm like, what? And then, but before I get into that, let's step back to, so February I went.
Yeah.
And then obviously all my test results came back because when I decided to go get all my testing done back in December, properly with all my swabs, I was going to Edson to work on the Tuesday because the Monday it was closed.
Yeah.
Because it was the beginning of January, so it was long weekend or whatever. So Tuesday,
this whole conversation stressing us out.
I know. I'm like, so ADHD, so it's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not sorry. So then, yeah, I get a call from the Women's Health Clinic, whatever that. I fucking love it. It's downtown. It's women's only. You just walk in the morning and then you go get all your testing done.
Where is this?
I'll tell you about it afterwards and then whatever. But they're phenomenal. So you can go there whenever. So I'd always just go there from all my testing stuff because they'll do my swabs and everything for me and my blood work. They draw everything right there for you. So you're in and out within like a couple hours if you go first thing in the morning. Because they like stop intake around noon because then they're open till like 3 or 4.
Okay.
And it's phenomenal. So I get a call from them. They're like, hey, Darcy, we just want to let you know that your test results came back. Everything's fine, but your throat came back positive for gonorrhea. And I was like, oh, God. And they're like, can you tell us anything? Like, what can you tell us about that? Because it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, and then I told them about the whole incident in Vegas back in August. And she's like, did you ever get a shot in the ass? I was like, no. What are you talking about, a shot in the ass? She's like, it's a needle, and then you have to take the pills too.
It's very strong penicillin.
I'm like, okay, well, can I like leave my house right now and come straight to you guys? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So I did. And then I had to call. And then, I'm like, hey, just to let you know, you need to go get your testing redone and, the swabs in your throat. You're going to get a needle in the ass and pills. And then the guy that I was dating at the time, I called him crying. And I'm like, so, because I didn't think about this. This is before I left to go get the shot. And then I didn't think about this part. And so the guy that I was dating with the not so good blacked out eyes, I called him and I was like, I just want to let you know that you need to go and get a shot in the ass and pills for gonorrhea. And he's just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it came back positive in my throat. And he's just like, I'm not even that big. I can't even reach that far back there. And I was like, that's what I told the nurse too. And then he's like, well, did it show up anywhere else? Because, I've been in your front, I've been in your back. I'm like, no. He's like, I didn't even reach. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh God. I'm like, okay. So then I go to the doctor's office. And
I feel confident. He's just like, oh, no, babe, don't worry. I'm not big enough.
But he went anyways and got it done.
As he should, yeah.
Yeah. So then I went in and I told the lady and I laughed about it. I was like, in my head, I was like, he can't even reach that far back there anyways because he's got a small dingling. And so anyways, she's laughing so hard. And I was like, but then again, maybe that's why it's in my throat and it's not anywhere else. Because otherwise, it should be everywhere because... Yeah, I do everything. And then she just laughed so hard. And then did the shot in my butt. And then I had to drive all the way to Edson.
Oh, sitting on it? Ow.
No, but there's like a numbing agent in it. So like my whole fucking cheek all down my leg was numb. I didn't know how long the numbing was going to last for. I thought it was going to be like, after an hour. So she's like, yeah, just make sure you take it easy. I'm like, I got to go on stage. Like, I got to strip all week.
Yeah.
And then so she's like, oh, okay, well, you're going to have a fun time. And I didn't know what she meant because she didn't tell me that there was a numbing in this thing. So I go to work and I'm trying to do stuff on stage. I couldn't bend down, nothing. Like my whole right side was completely numb. Yeah. And then by the end of the night, it was like gone. So I was just like, oh, this is brutal.
Yeah. Oh my God. For anyone who doesn't know like what numbing feels like from just like numbing my ass out to get it tattooed, when you sit, it feels like you're floating. It feels like the limbs aren't there. So it's like, it's hard to, even though you can move and it doesn't stop your blood flow, it's like fucks with your brain because it doesn't feel like your leg or your ass is there.
So you did numb your butthole before you tattooed it?
Oh, of course. I
didn't.
She demanded because she's like, I don't want you with how little the lines are because yours is all shading. Mine's like an intricate little heart. She's like, I don't want to fuck up the lines. So she's like, imagine a needle touching. What if you go, and it fucks the stencil or something? She's like, I want it numb so that you're just nice and relaxed. It's not going like what assholes do.
Do you remember that day that I came in all incognito right after literally right after getting it done? I came in with some friends.
Yes.
And then you came up to me like, did you seriously just get it tattooed? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, how? I tried one line and it fucking hurt. I'm like, I didn't feel it and it felt so good. We had to tape it up. But I documented it all. Yeah. And posted it up and whatnot. But yeah, I was like, it was so good. And I just thought it was funny because like, I thought I would just be like hiding there like with friends and just like not be seen and just like wear a hat.
But
and everything.
Everyone's like, you with the butthole. Yeah.
I need to see your butthole tattoo. You just got to tell me like it hurts. Not that it hurts, but it's because like the bandage and like the juices and stuff. I'm just like,
but you like pain. I hate pain. I hate that shit. I numbed it. I did my nipples, my pussy, and my butthole all at once and numbed them all, obviously. Because do you have your nipples done?
No, I pierced my own nipple with a fish hook when I was 13, though. And it was so good.
I thought nipples were top 2. Number 2 for me.
Like piercings or tattoo?
Piercings were pretty easy for me, but the tattoo was fucked up. Like, yeah, like I did not expect it to hurt that bad. But after numbing it out, it was easy as pie.
I love like this. It feels like a cat scratch to me, like a cat just slowly dragging its claw. And I'm like, oh, that feels so good.
Yeah, not me. Nope. No. She's what everyone thinks I'm like. When I walk up to guys, they're like, yeah, you like pain. I'm like, I cry when I drop something on my toe, dude.
I'm a big baby, honestly.
I don't think so. If you just got your butthole done.
With tattoos and stuff, it's different because the way it is for me is I take all the pain that people put me through, and with each stroke of that needle is like a release of that pain. And to me, it's so enjoyable because it's just beautiful. Mm-hmm. But in other senses, I'm like the biggest baby ever. Yeah. Like my dad babies the shit out of me. My mom babies the shit out of me. Like my whole family does. So when it comes to like, I'm not really a hard ass on the outside. I'm actually a big giant baby.
Yeah. So actually what you're explaining and how you're getting a release out of it is, I don't like the word because it makes it sound very bad, even though you're using it as self-harm, but it's therapeutic. Mm-hmm. It's not, but yeah, I found that when I did have more things to work through and a lot more anger towards people, especially recent, tattoos were easy. But now that I talk to my therapist about shit, all of them hurt. I don't get any fucking release from anything anymore.
Just start, like, you know what? I fire you, and I'm going back to the tattoo needle
I need to
for
go
therapist.
Get hurt for a little bit, and then I'll go get tattooed again.
I'm just not going to talk to you till afterwards.
Yeah. And then
what was the pain that you were feeling with each stroke? What pain was that? Like, this was released, that was released. My life fucking sucks. Just kidding. It doesn't.
No, I gotta say, if strippers we got rad lives. We got things going on.
Just always chaotic. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Border Patrol. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Back to that.
Brutal. Yeah. So the last 3 times I have dealt with her, this was all after February, nonstop, one after the other. So I go back, so February, and then I go back in March, April, May, June, and then again in August. So I've had to deal with all that nonstop. Mm-hmm. So I go back, I think it was, March. I go through, and then I was just going to get my eyeliner touched up and do my brows, maybe my lips. I didn't know yet. Mm-hmm. So then I go through, and then I bawled my eyes out. The officer was like, what brings you in? I'm like, I'm just going to go get cosmetic tattoos and then just hang out with friends.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, cool. Enjoy your trip. And I was like, this was in Edmonton. And I looked at him. I was like, what? And he's like, enjoy your trip. You can go. And I was like, is this a joke right now? I'm like, I don't have to go in
Ashton
secondary.
Ashton Kutcher's going to come out and be like, you're punked.
Right. And I'm like, he's like, starts laughing. He's like, no, go enjoy your trip. And I'm just like, I started crying. I was like, thank you. I don't have to go speak with Anna. He's like, no, go. And I was like, thank you.
I don't know if this ever happened to you with Anna, but when we were leaving, at the end, my friend finally released on her and was just like, stop bullying my friend, basically. Like, you are just like relentlessly yelling at this girl who's crying in front of you. She's not arguing with you. She's not anything. She's like, God, I hope you don't have fucking kids, because this is not how you solve a conflict. This is not how you discuss things. All the assuming, just like let it out on her. And Anna goes, why are you being so mean to me? I'm like crying because she's been yelling at me, right?
What? Why are you being so mean to me?
She said that. And then as we leave, she's like, I'm going to walk you out. And we're like, no, we'd rather have someone else walk us out. So a security guard comes and walks us out. And once the two, because there's the two doors, he's just like, this is the number to call to leave a complaint, because this happens quite a bit with her. And we're like, that's fucked up.
Nobody gave me a complaint card. I would have fucking just every single time would have been like,
yeah, no. And then called and left quite a few messages. Called, like, I don't know if you've ever had to call border control and everything.
No.
Trying to find out my status of even if I could fly or not. I couldn't find out anything. And from what my friends are telling me,
it's because you're not banned from the States.
Yeah.
It's just she's being mean.
She's a meanie.
And every time she would like literally tell me that I can't go and I have to go back home every time. And I'm like, no, like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not seeing anybody. Like, I'm not seeing clients, because obviously I was in a relationship before then. And then, with my husband now, it's just like everything. I'm like, I have a reason to go and I have a reason to come back. Well, how do I know you're not going to come? You're going to try not to come back. I have a child here. Well, why isn't he with you? Because he's doing a school year with his cousins, which was planned.
As you're like, going to Vegas, why isn't your child with you? Obvious reasons. Like, what the fuck?
Why would you bring a child to Vegas? Let alone, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't party. I'm a house hermit. So, like, even when I did have a hotel room and everything, I just stayed.
Yeah.
Everybody else would go out, do their thing. And I'm like, I'm going to stay here. I don't want to go out. Like, I don't like people.
Yeah.
And when I do go out, it's always like, people are always asking us questions, or they're always trying to touch our tattoos, or, they're always trying to hit on us and trying to pick us up. We're like, oh, how much for that? And just get out of here.
It's what I never thought, I always, we have the stigma attached to us that, like, strippers are whores, they're sluts, they're just escorts, but a different way. I hate that. It's just, one, all sex work should be fucking fine, but, like, you go there and they're just like, no, even though we're proving that we are just dancers, they're like, I don't know, there's still a chance you might meet with a client. I'm like, anyone who's normal can do that and go and meet with a client.
And guess what? Normal people every single day who aren't in, relationships, they're just going out and fucking people for free booze and stuff like that. Like, that's why girls go out and get drunk to go home with random people so that they don't have to pay for stuff.
And why would we go to the States?
We're not doing that.
That's why I stressed to her. I was like, escorts don't need to go, like, I get that traveling escorts is a thing. Absolutely. But why would I need to leave my country to go escort somewhere else when I could escort anywhere in Canada? Why would I go and like set up there where it's like all human trafficking? Like trying to explain that to her. Of course I wasn't going to because it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. But like they're all run by pimps. They all have these cards, this advertising, this. To go out there and even do it without stepping on someone's toes and getting murdered out in Vegas is almost impossible. So like girls can't just like pick up a luggage with a bikini and heels and go and work there either at the club or as an escort because everything's run by someone else. And if you really think that, there would be a trail of who the pimp is and everything like that. Like you can't just go there and stand on a street corner and make money. That's not how escorting works. It's not how any job works.
Even with like those like entertainment people or girls dressed up, like they all have like their little turfs where like, oh, take pictures.
Yeah, and it's like a circle.
And I'm just like, leave me alone. No, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, like I'd rather just go to the States and have a vacation and go have fun and like make TikToks with like my friends and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Just fucking blows. I wish there was more education when it comes to border control. Like realistically, you only have to go to school for 6 months and this person gets to decide your fate on where you travel, when, and what you do. And even if you get charged, and I don't know, like the fact that she could just sit there and verbally abuse me was fucked up.
Oh, I'm excited to tell you this next little bit. It's fucking a headache. So when I went back in, March and then April, I went in April and then of course I go through, I'm like, oh God, I really hope I get like a cool guy like that last guy last time.
Yeah.
And then she's, cause I went to go get my tongue split and I didn't realize there was a body mod, convention going on. So this guy was like, he looked like a nerdy gamer and he's just like, so what brings you into the States? I'm like, I'm getting my tongue split. And then he's like, okay, do you have your license? I'm like, pull up my license. He's like, no, like for you to do body mods. I was like, what? No. I'm like, I'm getting my tongue split. Like I'm going to Vegas to hang out with friends. And then, cause I didn't realize there was a body modification event going on in Vegas that week.
That'd be sick.
And then that's when I got to meet up with Luna and take photos with him. Because we just decided to meet up quickly. And so that's when I had to fly out. I'm like, I'm going to Vegas and then I have my flight already booked for Miami to come back and then I fly back home.
Yeah.
And it's just like, something doesn't add up. Go sit over there and wait for an officer. And I was just like, oh God. And so I go sit down and Anna Lee comes in and then she's like, Darcy, did you get all your documentation that you needed? And I'm like, what? I'm like, she's not talking to me. I have no idea who this broad is. What documentation? So I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at like the whole, the glass wall there that you can't see in. So I'm just like sitting there looking at it like this. And I'm like going like this, just like, cause my hands are so sweaty. I'm like, fuck. And then so she's like, Darcy, I'm talking to you. And I look over, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, hi. She's like, come over here. And then I go up. She's like, so, last time we spoke, do you have your Indian status? And I was like, no, you've never said anything about that. And I was like, I'm not even status. She's like, oh, well, we did briefly talk about it. I was like, no, we didn't. And I'm like, I'm in the process of applying, but I've never brought that up to anybody before.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, well, what brings you to the States? I was like, I'm getting my tongue. Like, I've already met up with Luna for both eyes, and now he's like splitting my tongue.
Yeah.
April 5th in Miami. Why are you going to Vegas? Well, because why would I go to Miami when I have no friends out there? I'd rather go hang out, for a week with friends and then fly out and then fly back. And then she's like, okay, so you're not meeting with any clients? You're not working? I'm like, no, I'm literally going to enjoy because I've been working nonstop to get all my body modifications.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, when you come back, you need to, you need to apply for your Indian status card because if you can prove that you are 100% or 50%, because I was like, my mom has status. She's like, okay. I was like, can I message my mom right now? So I called my mom crying. Mom, I need you to send me a copy of your Indian status, please, and your birth certificate, and because obviously she got married, so it's not the same name as mine.
Yeah.
And then oh no, I didn't even ask her to send me the birth certificate yet. I asked her for her driver's license and her status card. And then I pretended that I hung up on her. And then I just kept my mom on there and I texted her. I was like, please stay on the phone with me. And then so she's like, yeah, the name doesn't match up to yours. And I was like, that's my mom.
Yeah.
Like, she's my mom, but she got remarried. The last names don't match up. And then I instantly got a text and I was like, oh, my mom just sent me her birth certificate. So my mom's like, I got you, with like a little kissy face.
Yeah.
And then so I clicked on it. I'm crying. And I'm like, here is my mom's birth certificate where it's our both last names.
Yeah.
Or matching last names, whatever, because she had like, and no, her birth certificate, which is not the same last name. And then she had sent previous, like old stuff with my last name on it when she was married to my dad.
Yeah.
And then so we had all that and she's like, okay, this doesn't prove that you are 50% or 100%. So I'm going to just do this for you one time, but make sure that you get a long form birth certificate so it proves that your mom's your mom and that she's on your birth certificate. She didn't say this time to make sure that I have an India status card. She said, get your long form birth certificate to make sure that your mom is your mom because she's status.
Why would you need to prove your status to get across though?
If you have status, if you have Indian status and you have the actual registration card,
yeah,
you can go into the States whenever you want. You can move to the States. You can work in the States.
So she was kind of helping you out, or?
Yeah.
Nice.
So she would try to like push me like that, but still was like mean about it like afterwards because I'm just like, you know, she would try to like tell me that she said one thing and it was the other. So get this, I fly back again. And then I'm like, I don't have a birth certificate and I, you know, am still registering for it. And I forgot what I went to go do. Oh, it was an award show. And I was just like, I'm going to see my boyfriend at the time. And, you know, we're going to the award show and stuff like that and have nominations, which I won. And so I had like 4 nominations and then we won. That was the one I won with Cassie. We won for like that movie that we did. And she ended up letting me through. She's like, this is the last time. And then you need your thing or whatever. And I was just like, hey, thank you. Like, why? She just always let me back in. And then so fast forward to June. No, that was June. Fast forward to August. So this is when Anthony and I started dating before then. And then, you know, I was going to see him for the month.
Yeah.
And then at the same time too, like I just was going to go chill with him and the kids because this was before Alex has done school or before he starts school. So then, you know, this is when I still had my place and then found out it had like asbestos and stuff and was dealing with all that.
Alex is her son. Anthony is her boyfriend.
Husband.
Yeah. Just to clear that up for the audience.
Yeah. So then dealing with all the asbestos and stuff that had happened when I was in Vegas in June.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck it. I can't just fucking stay because my place has been deemed unlivable, but I was still living there.
Yeah.
Paying rent, everything. Like my landlord was brutal, has been brutal. I have all the documentations. I have all the text messages, emails, everything. And photos, videos, like, he was not a help at all. He even raised my rent 4 months in of being there. It was insane. Oof. But I booked my ticket and he said that the place was supposed to be finished by September 5th.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the States from August 1st to September 5th. And so I go to the airport all confident and everything because I got my long form birth certificate that matches my mom's name. I go there. And then she's just like, so the last time you were here was June. She's like, do you have proof that, you know, your dad's, that you're your dad's daughter for his status card? And I looked at her, I was like, my dad? Because like I got pulled into the back. And I was like, no. Oh, no, okay, fuck. That was in June with the birth certificate thing. Because August was fucking horrendous. Okay, sorry. Backtrack. June, I go across or whatever with the birth certificate. And then that's what she's just like to prove that I'm my dad's child because he has status. I was like, my dad's a white man. My mom's the one with the Indian status. She's like, no, you lied to me. You said your dad. I was like, no, I did not. She did with
me. She's like, you said you make $2,000 a day. I'm like, what?
I was like, no, my dad's a white man. My mom is
and here's the
native
proof,
one.
like right here.
And I was like, you have the files of my mom. I was on the phone with my mom. And she's just like, nope, you lied to me, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't let you in. And then so they brought my suitcase up.
Yeah.
Because she made the guy look through it. I had a double-ended dildo in there. I had like cards, like a bunch of cards. And it was just my magnets with like magnet backings and like some outfits for when I go to the award show. So I was like, oh God, you got my heels and everything. I was like, this looks like I'm trying to like work stage in the States, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Because they don't hand out promo and stuff. I was like, oh God, she's going to think I'm working and I'm not. So then she's like, looks over at the guy and she's like, does everything check out back there? Does it look like she's like, trying to work or anything? And when the guy opens it and sees everything, his head tilts and his eyebrow goes up. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to get let in. And then.
Did they let you in?
He closed it. He's like, no, everything's fine. And I'm like, thank God.
I swear all these men are just so probably sick of her yelling at people and like, yeah. And they're all just like, oh, fuck, just let the poor girl go.
So then she's like, okay, this is your last time. You need your status card. And I was just like, I don't have a status card. Like it takes takes 6 months to 2 years.
Yeah.
So I applied for it in September. Is when I actually applied for it just this past year. So it's finally on someone's desk. So then fast forward to August 1st, flying out. And she, of course, she's at a different thing with somebody else. And I was like, oh, great. I'm going to get through. This will be fine.
Yeah.
Cocky in my own brain. I get up to this guy and he's just like, so tell me why you had all your other trips this past year in the States. And I looked at him. I was like, okay. I explained why I went in August. I explained why I went again in December, February, March, April, May, June. And then he's like, yeah, I don't think we're going to let you in. I was like, but I have my birth certificate to prove that I'm my mom's daughter. I have, I'm in the process of getting hopefully my Indian status card. So, I don't have these issues. I was like, can you please grab Anna? Well, are you friends with Anna? I'm like, no, but I've been dealing with her for the past year, but I have everything and I need to talk to her. I'm like, clearly this conversation's not going to go anywhere with you. I want to be switched to Anna and I need to speak with her. Yeah. And then he's just like, I don't know. And then he looks over and he brings Anna over. And then Anna's like, do you have your Indian status card? I was like, no, I do not. What is the point of you coming to the States today? I was like, well, do you really want me to tell you? Because the waterworks will start right now. And she's like, what's going on? And I started bawling. I was like, so I'm supposed to go see my boyfriend and spend the month with him for his kids. Well, you don't need to. You can just go home. I'm like, I can't go home. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, when I saw you back in June, I came back and my place flooded. My kitchen and dining room, it was the two things that flooded. And then I came back on the 26th it was the 28th maybe. I don't know, whatever. End of June. And I came back for the one day before I had to go work up in Fort Mac. And I was like, my place was deemed unlivable. I was like, so now it's already August and, they're still working on it and I'm staying at my place. I'm like, I can't be there because it's all open. Yeah. And my landlord, I was like, I have all the messages, the complaints I have, everything. I have it all in my phone right here and I'll show you. I was like, he wants me to stay there because he wants me to get my own hotel. I get my own hotel and I take it to insurance. I don't think so. It's supposed to be him doing it. This is like the worst experience I've ever had. He's also raised the rent on me and everything. I was like, so I still paid for like the full month and whatever. And then she's just like, oh, so what do you plan on doing? I'm like, well, I'm going to just go relax for the month because I've been working nonstop to get all my body modifications for this to now happen. I was like, so I want to go spend time with my boyfriend and his kids. Well, where's your son? I'm like, he's spending the summer with my parents. So when I come back, that way when my place is deemed livable again, he can go to school full time. everything got kiboshed, and that's why he's doing another school year with my parents, is because of that whole fucking asbestos incident. Because then I ended up having to move stuff to my cousin's place in her shed, and then I'm just renting a room from them for like $200 a month, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I went from paying like $19.70 to like $200. Like, it's insane. So then she's just like, okay. She's like, do you have proof? And I was just like, yeah, here's the email. She's like reading it all. She's like, okay, it says here that, because I said I wanted to stay till the 14th. Mm-hmm. Because there was a couple girls that I had wanted to shoot with that Slava had brought up that I can go to LA to shoot with for. But she's like, okay, well, you have to be back no later than the 5th. And I'm like, oh God, what happens if I don't come back before the 5th? I ended up coming back a day later, so I thought I wasn't going to be let back in. But so I'm like bawling my eyes out, and she's like, this is your last fucking time.
As she says it every time.
Yeah, she's like, this is your last time. You be back September 5th, or you can't get back into the States. And I'm just like, thank you so much. So I go, and whatever, I come back. So this has happened before a couple times too, but when I came back from this trip, because I don't have anything to, what is that called when you come back in and you have to declare?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. So I came back, and, I had nothing to declare because I wasn't doing anything. I'm not shopping or buying things. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take much to make me happy. I just buy food and that's it. So then I come back, and then this lady is like, so, how much money are you coming back with? I was like, what do you mean? Well, how much money are you coming back with from the States? I was like, nothing. I was like, she's like, okay, well, how much money is in your bank account? I was like, that doesn't matter how much money is in my bank account, because, I went there with my own money and then came back with my own money. And she's just like, okay, well, who's been paying for your flights? And I was like, myself. And then she's like, like, for your flights there and back after, like, since for the times you've been coming to the States for the past year? I'm like, yeah, I pay for myself.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to have to get you to step over there and you can go talk with an officer. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to get back. Like, I can see the gate to just get back into Canada right there.
Yeah.
No, every single time they're always asking me, like, how much money I have in my bank account, how much money I have on me, who's been buying my flights, who's been taking care of me. And I'm like, I take care of my fucking self.
It's wild too, because if you were to say that someone did buy your flights, it'd be the exact same reaction, which is wild. Because why do they have to come at you with an attitude and be like, I don't know? Because I feel like no matter what answer you were to give them, they're like, oh, my boyfriend bought them, or this, or my parents, they'd be like, ugh, I can't believe you. I'm like, it's all on my bank statements. Everything comes out of my bank account. I'm not going to show you how much money I have in there or how much money like I make from work and stuff like that in Canada. That's none of your business. I was like, but I can show you that I paid for my own flights every single time. Yeah.
And they're just like, and then, I go up to the thing and they're like, okay, well, they'll just ask me some stupid questions. And I'm like, okay, they're good to go. And I'm like, really? I just got fucking haggard. So yeah, I just going from that chick telling me like, practically asking me everything and then making me think that or trying to think that I'm lying about me buying my own flights to the States, or like, that somebody else is doing it for me. I'm just like, no, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. They are, as the questions they ask, it's like, I don't know. I hate being accused of shit that obviously I'm not doing, but they'll literally be like, do you have pets? You have a dog? What kind of dog? Pit bull. Are you sure it's a pit bull? And that's like what they're like for no fucking reason about every fucking question. Like, is there not a nicer way to go about this? Do I am I giving off that energy for you to be rude to me? Like, why don't you just be nice? Why are you so angry? Like, why are you so angry? Is your job really that taxing? And if it is turning you into that kind of person, maybe you should quit.
Right? Like, my last trip was like very interesting. So the last time I decided I was going to drive, and then my mom's like, oh, go through this one because you shouldn't have a hard time. And of course, what does my fucking brain do? As Anthony's driving, I'm like clicking through and reading reviews. I'm like, I don't think I feel so confident anymore.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are easy.
No. Yeah. So we drive through, we decided to leave, because I was working up in Fort Mac for New Year's, and then we left on the 2nd, I believe, or the 3rd, I can't remember. But we are coming back, or we're driving to Vegas, so that way I could be there for 2.5 months to work and AVNs and everything, because I had nominations. And So I'm confident. We pack up my stuff. And of course, Rosie, my vehicle, is full. Because I'm like, well, I'm not a light packer and I'm very indecisive. So I need a bunch of different outfits.
Yeah.
So I have a huge bin that Anthony just like rolled up all my clothes into. So everything fit perfectly. And then, I had like 7 pairs of shoes. I had all my costumes because I'm signing all week at AVN. So I need my outfits. And then I have my computer desk. I have my computer, like my laptop all set up in like the little travel tote bag, suitcase thing. Cause I have everything in there for streaming. And then I don't know what else I had in there. My promo and stuff. So I was like, oh fuck, it really looks like I'm trying to work, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And so we drive and then we go through the border and they're like, okay, what brings you here? He's like, I'm going home. And he's like, okay, what about you? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go visit till March 20th and then come back because my son's birthday is on the 22nd and then I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so how much money do you have? I'm like, I told them how much cash I had on me. And then like, okay, well, how much money do you have in the bank? I was like, I have this much in the bank, but then I also have this much in the safe at my cousin's place. So if I need her to grab it out and e-transfer me, I can do it that way. And then like, okay, well, what do you do for work? I'm like, I'm an exotic and Canadian entertainer. I do not plan on working in the States because you don't make any money out here. By that, I mean, there's contact and dances and we're not about that in Canada. And then, you don't get paid for your stage shows where we make really good money in Alberta. Yeah. So I'm taking a vacation because I've been working 19 weeks straight and I need a break. Yeah. And then he's just like, okay, well, we're going to need you guys to pull around over here and come on in. And I'm like, I looked at Anthony, I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, every time you have like the worst fucking luck. So when we sat there and then, they're asking me questions or whatever, not really asking me questions. Like we didn't go into a room. We were just out in the open. And then he's just like, okay, so what do you plan on doing for work out here? Like to make money. And this was afterwards when I came in. And this was like maybe 2 hours in or something like that. And I was like, well, I stream. I game out on Twitch and Kick and I game. So I just stream online when, I'm not in Canada. And it's just like, oh, well, why didn't you say that before? And then I was just like, okay. So, they're still doing their thing. But actually that was at the end. So closer to the end. So I can't remember really what the stuff that they were asking. But then we just sat there for 5.5 hours in total. And it was brutal because he's like, okay, well, Anthony, you can go. You're free to go. But Darcy has to go back to Canada. So we're going to get all this paperwork. And I looked at them and I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, but why? Well, because we looked through all your stuff and you have a lot of stuff in there. And it looks like you're trying to move. I was like, that's actually a huge insult because I don't have that much stuff in here. My stuff back at home, I have like, I had a 3-bedroom place. So everything is there. Yeah. If I was trying to move, I would be bringing everything with me. Like, I can't live off one bit of clothes or like, little amounts of shoes and whatnot. Like, I have a gaming PC. Like, that thing's my baby. Yeah. And I'm just like, whatever. So then I was just like, oh God. And then I started bawling and he's just like, why are you crying? What's wrong? And I look at Anthony. I was like, I bought Dad his flights. I bought my mom her flights. I got my mom the hotel room. And then he's just like, what's going on? I was like, we're supposed to be getting married on the 31st in Vegas and my family's flying down. And he's like, okay. Actually, just before that, I said that I had to come back to work. Work wasn't booked yet because we don't get contracts. He's like, well, if you can get your work to send contracts, we'll let you in for proof. So I call Russ in the middle of the night because it was like 2 a.m. at this point, I think. And I'm bawling. And he's just like, I can't do anything until morning. Like, nobody's in the office. We can't do anything. I was like, please do something. Or they're sending me back to Canada. Like, I'm stuck at the border right now. And then I tried calling Dom. Dom told me to call Russ. And I was like, I already called Russ. So then I tried calling Ken. Nobody answered at Independent because obviously it was like late at night. They're probably like, what the fuck is this cracker doing? And I'm just like, hysterically crying. And then that's when I had said that afterwards about like the flight with my mom and my dad and everything. And he's like, oh, you guys are getting married? And I was like, yeah. And then he's just like, so do you plan on moving down here? I'm like, well, not right now. Like, I still have, like, my work is really good in Canada. So therefore, I've just been coming back and forth because I come back home, work, and then I come visit. Yeah. And then he's just like, okay, let's see if we can go a different route because they're going to try to send you home because you didn't have proof that you're coming back to work. So it didn't have proof that you're coming back. I was like, my child's here. Like, my child is in Canada. I'm not going to just leave my child in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, why isn't he with you? Because he's doing the school year with his cousins. And then, he's back home. And then so he got me I called my dad. And I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm going to need to give you a call here soon. So please stay by the phone and make sure it's on loud. So when I do call you, because I'm at the border, he's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no, it's not. So I'm going to give Mom a call too in case they get me to call both of you guys. So then, when they called us back up, I called my dad and I'm like crying. I'm like, hey, Dad. And I'm like, here, I'm just going to give you the phone. I'm like, because I said it out loud that way when I was like, hey, Dad, I'm going to give you a call. I called my dad. I had it on speaker laying like this. And he's just like, hey, this is Officer, I forget his name. He was super nice the whole time. But I felt bad because he was stuck with us. And obviously it was shift change and everything, but he was still stuck with us.
Yeah.
So he was like asking my dad questions like, hey, like, when are they supposed to be getting married? And he's like, on the 31st. Well, okay. Did your daughter buy you a flight? Yeah, I leave on Monday and then I fly back Friday. Okay, sweet. And then he's like, okay, she said something about your ex-wife, which is her mom. Yeah, she's flying out the next day and then flies out the day before I fly out. And then he's like, okay, so when you go to Vegas, where are you staying? And he's just like, what? I don't know what you mean. Because my dad's like, he's like me. He's like an airhead. Not an airhead. My dad's super smart. But like when you're put on the spot, he's just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, he's the type of dude that likes to eat mushrooms all day when he's not working.
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, when you're in Vegas, where are you staying? He's like, oh, I'm staying with my daughter. And
the fuck?
And Anthony, like, I'm staying at their place. Okay, so where is their place? He's like, I don't know. They're picking me up from the airport and then, they're bringing me to the house and they have like the couch all set up for me and everything because I like sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay. Well, they mentioned something about a ceremony in Canada. He's like, yeah, because we had already told him. And he's just like, okay, where's that ceremony? He's like, Red Deer. He's like, do you know where? And do you know if we're going to be staying? He's like, no, because it's not, we have like, it's not set in stone yet because she's not back working where, she can figure this all out.
Yeah.
So he's just like, okay, well, sorry for bugging you and hopefully you have a good rest of your night. And, just let him go, whatever. And then that's when he afterwards had asked me, he's like, it's not enough, for you to be let into the States. We're just going to have to write your thing to go back. And then you guys can try again tomorrow if you can get those contracts. And I'm like, he's like, what do you plan on doing for work down here? Like he said. And I was like, I stream on Twitch and Kick. I game stream. Well, why did you say that in the first place? And I was like, well, because it's not the first thing that pops up in my mind. Usually it's what I'm currently doing. Yeah. And then that's just like a hobby of mine that's really good. And then he's like, okay, well, can you give me your Twitch name? And I was like, oh, fuck, everything is on there. Like everything. The links to everything is on there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's Miss Darcy Diamond. And then so he like checks it out and he's like, okay, actually, yeah, it's real. And then he's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm so sorry. Like after everything, he was like, I'm so sorry, you guys, that, I had to put you guys through all this, but it looked like she wasn't trying to come back. Whatever you do, when you guys do get married, don't try to get your, that whole process.
Yeah.
Come back to Canada when you said you're going to, and then figure it out. So then that way the border's not going to be mad at you. I was like, I don't plan on moving right away.
Yeah.
So I was like, I started crying because I was so happy that we finally got to go through, but I was just like, holy crap.
That's so fucked.
So, and then coming back, when we drove back, because I don't declare anything. I don't need to because I haven't gotten anything down there.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a reason to shop. So coming back on the 19th, I think we started driving back and we made it to the border on the 20th. We go up and we're just like, okay, yeah, like he's only going to be here for a few days and he flies out and I have to get back to work. And then they're like, okay, do you have anything to declare or whatever? I was like, no, I don't. Like I have 0 things to declare. And then of course, like, okay, you need to go pull into this
every time
garage type thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, ugh. I'm like, well, and then my head clicked and I looked at Anthony. I was like, it's because I didn't declare anything. I was like, but it's true.
Have you ever flown back or gone there without them talking to you? Like being pulled into secondary? That's what they told me, is that every time now that I'm flagged because of my friend, that I'm going to be pulled back. So
no, because like there was the 2 times with that one guy. He was super nice.
Yeah.
He just like, he looked like a lumberjack with like a beard and whatnot, but he just
always the one
let
with
me
the beard.
through.
Yeah.
And then everyone else did not. It was just him. And then the Asian guy in Calgary was always super nice. Which I have the award show happening in June. I don't know if I have any nominations yet or whatnot, but it was either I fly down or I drive down. So I don't know what's going to happen with that yet. I guess I'll find out once the nominations do come out, and then I need to figure out a game plan with that because I do have to come back.
Yeah, obviously.
So then I'm just like, fuck, that's going to be stressful, but that'll be a win for the books.
We could do a little update.
I'm going to go through Calgary if I do fly out.
Yeah, we can do an update about New Orleans and yours when the time comes. Absolutely.
Yeah, how did your border crossing shenanigans go?
Everyone is always like, Kruella, did you get laid? Kruella, did you get past the airport? I'm like, my life sounds so lame.
So then on our way back, we pull into this garage, and it was an adorable, like, she had a Quebec accent, and she's like, hey, like, do you know why you got pulled in here? I'm like, I was like, my guess is because I didn't declare anything, and I'm coming back into Canada, and my husband's coming to visit for a short amount of time, and then he has to fly back because he has his little ones every 2 weeks. And then so they're like, okay, we'll just go into this room over here, and you can see everything. It's just a big giant window, and you can see them pull everything out of the vehicle. They had a dog in there, but they were putting my stuff back in. Like, everything was good.
Yeah.
There's just like, it just looks like a lot of stuff here. So are you trying to move? And he's like, no, I have 1 suitcase. The rest is her stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I pack heavy for like a short amount of time because I'm just very indecisive with things.
I do too, and there's no shame in that. And anyone who makes you feel shame for that is a dick. Sorry, that does nothing.
Because they're very minimalistic and they don't care. Like with me, I have to feel what I want to wear. Otherwise, I'm in like sweats and whatnot. Like I was gonna look homeless coming in here, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna put pants on.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna wear sweatpants, which I need to go pick up soon. Is more because they're so comfy.
Yeah.
So as they're putting my stuff back, I'm not looking, and Anthony's like, oh my God, they're going through your posters and your magnets right now. And then they had my one bag, which also had my DVDs in it. Like the full on, like fucking you flip it and you see full D and V and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God. And at this point, I'm invested. I like look over and I'm just staring. I'm crying from laughing so hard. And they have like these 2 ladies standing in the one spot and that one over there, and they're like going through, and each, because I have like my business cards for my magnets, and I get 1,000 done at a time with like how many different ones done at once. So the lady opens it and she's going through all my magnets and my posters, and I was like, oh my God, she's probably just saw my asshole.
She's just like,
she saw my asshole.
Puts it right in her pocket.
And then I knew that they saw the DVD.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Afterwards, the lady comes in. She's like, okay, you guys are good to go. And because I had told her, I was like, please, whatever you do, can I put the broom back into the vehicle? Because Greg makes my creatures for me.
Yeah.
And when we went to go to the States, they fucking destroyed the broom. Like, it's missing half of its fucking
like
twigs. I cried. I was so sad. I was like, karma's coming for those assholes.
Oh, yeah.
So then she's like, yeah, absolutely. Because she's just like, they were looking at the broom weird. And I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it with me from Canada, and it's coming back with me.
Yeah.
And so as she like gives me my key, like lets us go or whatever, I look at her and I'm like, I'm so sorry that this was like the most boring search you guys ever had. And she's like, oh, you better stop it. And she's laughing. Anthony's laughing. I'm crying. And then when I walked by the rest of the girls, I said the exact same thing, and they all died. I was just like, oh my God. That was probably like the best border cross. Like that's probably the best time at crossing to the States I've ever had or back.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. It's so weird. And it's like something that people don't even consider. And every time I talk to a guy about going to the States and how it might be troublesome if we were to ever plan a vacation, they always go, oh, you got a record? I'm like, no, I just exist. And that's all it takes for these guys to be like, you're a criminal.
The border hates us for no reason at all. The internet hates us. Like, I get, what would you call that? Doxed on everything. Like, my stuff gets instantly flagged. Like, I just posted up that short little trailer with the eye stuff that Slava did up for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing violent on there or graphic or, there's no sexual anything on there. People flagged it and they will not take it off now. Now it has like the warning, like the eyeball with like the thing on it. They have to.
I hate it. It's like being censored in every aspect it's a lot, and it's, I don't know. We can just fucking talk about this for hours and hours about how our lives are basically changed in every single way. You want to rent somewhere, you got to be honest. And if you're not honest, you got to have your fucking tracks hidden. If you plan on doing any of this, that's what I say when girls start, is like, you have to prepare for your life to change. You can't hide this from everyone. Girls who think they can go into this and be completely hidden, and if it's not hidden, it's someone else's fault. No, this is your job now. And if you want your tracks covered, don't be a stripper.
To me, and I've always just been nothing but honest. I don't care, because what do I have to lose, in a sense? Like, when I first started in the industry, in the adult industry, when I was like 18, I told my family.
And as you should. That being said, you shouldn't be lying about this. You should be honest with your family, your loved ones.
Yeah, it makes things easier, because once you have that, like, at first, some of them might be pissed and you'll be the black sheep, but the ones that really support you are actually there for you.
And they're the ones that we're going to take on vacation. And when we get rich, we're going to buy them a fucking car. And, I don't know. I feel like I brighten my mom's life up more than I'm a stripper. I have more opportunity to give her things and get her things that she thinks are not within reach. She's never thought that she'd be able to go to New Orleans.
Really?
It's not even that big of a fucking goal, but in her head, with the way the economy is going and how she has like 3 fucking jobs just to pay for her condo and her divorce and all this shit, she just thought that nothing was in reach for her. So I'm like, that's now my job. I'm like, you're the one who has to defend me day in and day out, because I'm a stripper and people will tell her certain things. And she defends me. I'm like, you deserve some fucking kickback for this, because the stigma does not only affect you, it affects your whole fucking family.
My grandparents, my mom, my dad, like, everyone has always been super supportive. My mom, not so much on the, what'd you say, prawn side of things?
The prawn side of things.
Shrimp dick. Is what I think when I see that. At first she was like, that's like escorting, blah, blah. I was like, little did you know, Mom. I was struggling.
My mom was the same too. She thought that a lot more gross things were happening on stage than she thought. Like, the front row was meant for guys who are jerking off, and that like touching happens with everyone. She's like, oh, are people gonna touch me at the club? I'm like, absolutely not. Mom, come on. But
it's the girls who are really touchy and handsy. Like, they're the disrespectful ones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that some strippers learned a little bit of what it's like to cross the border. Make sure you're talking. Honest. Yes, be honest. Have your tracks covered properly. Make sure you have a good place to stay. But the most important piece of advice out of all of this, because we're spitting out so much shit, is to talk to the girls who are traveling to get the best advice. Don't just take this podcast as is, because I've only been denied twice. She's been denied for different reasons. Talk to everyone.
Get all the information you need, and then make sure you have a day planner. I've been doing it since I started doing stage. I write everything down. I write what I make for each show. Even I'll write what I get paid, like what I make, and then on top of that, separately, not including, when I count my money, I put the tip aside for the porter, the DJ. And it's not coming out of that, because then that just fucks everything up. I'll count what I have, and then I'll take that money out and put that there, count more, and then, have it perfectly laid out. Yeah. So I have it documented every single year for every time I work, for everything. Even my online stuff is like all fucking laid out for when I get paid and everything.
Yeah. So make sure you're talking to the correct people. Take everything with a grain of salt that we're saying, because things change all the time. Make sure you have your tracks covered. Be smart about it. Be right with your decisions. Don't be a skis. So hopefully there was some insight you got from this conversation, and it only gets harder.
Yeah, never gets easier. I'm mortified.
It never gets easier. With that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and I hope everyone has safe travels everywhere they go. Whether you're getting pulled into secondary or not, I hope everyone is safe. Yeah. So everyone have a wonderful night. Or not.
Or not.
Bye.
Bye.